Welcome back, everyone, to our first episode of season 6 of the Truth and Freedom podcast, where awakening begins with asking the question most people are afraid to ask. I'm your host, Dr. Dan Emzalag, and this is not just another podcast. This is a journey into awareness, courage, and truth. So let me begin this first episode with a powerful question. Are you truly free, or have you simply become comfortable with some of these invisible chains? So when people hear the word slavery, they often imagine physical control, chains, cages, or visible oppression. But some of the most powerful forms of control are invisible. They exist quietly within our thoughts, our beliefs, and the stories we've accepted about who we are and what we're capable of becoming. Mental slavery is subtle. It doesn't shout, it whispers. It tells you to stay small. It encourages you to stay within the lines. It persuades you to silence your voice just to be accepted. And the most dangerous part is that many people never realize they're wearing those chains. So from the moment we enter the world, society begins shaping our thinking. Parents, schools, culture, media, and social expectations slowly build a framework in our minds about what success should look like, how we should behave, what we should fear, and even how we should define happiness. Over time, these ideas become internalized. They become part of our identity, and eventually, we stop questioning them. We begin living according to scripts we never consciously wrote. So many people are controlled by fear, fear of judgment, fear of failure, fear of rejection. Others are controlled by a quiet belief that they are simply not enough, not smart enough, not successful enough, not attractive enough, or not worthy enough. Now, these beliefs become invisible walls that shape our decisions. They influence the careers we pursue, the relationships we tolerate, the dreams we abandon, and the risk we refuse to take. The tragedy is that many people mistake these limitations for reality, but they're not reality. They are conditioning factors. Now, conditioning shapes perception. If you're told long enough that something is impossible, eventually you believe it. If criticism surrounds you long enough, self-doubt begins to grow. If you're taught to constantly seek approval, you may slowly lose the ability to trust your own voice. And when that happens, freedom begins to disappear. Not because someone took it from you, but because you unknowingly give it away. Mental slavery thrives when we live on autopilot, when we move through life without reflection, without questioning our beliefs, and without challenging our fears. We become passengers instead of pilots. We start living according to expectation rather than purpose. But the moment you begin asking deeper questions, something powerful happens. You start noticing the chains. You begin asking yourself, why do I believe this? Who taught me this? Is this belief helping me grow or keeping me small? Awareness is the first step towards freedom. Once you recognize the invisible chains, you can begin breaking them. It doesn't happen overnight, by the way. Mental freedom is a process. It requires courage to challenge your old beliefs, humility to accept that some of them no longer serves you, and discipline to replace limiting thoughts with empowering ones. But the reward is extraordinary. When you free your mind, you reclaim your ability to choose. You choose your values. You choose your direction. You choose the life you want to create. Instead of reacting to fear, you begin responding to intentions. Instead of living someone else's script, you begin writing your own. And that is where true freedom begins. Freedom is not just an external circumstance. It's about internal authority, the ability to think independently, question boldly, and live authentically. When you break mental chains, something remarkable happens. You stop seeking permission to be yourself. You start trusting your intuition. You begin honoring your voice. And you realize that your worth was never something that needed approval from the outside world. Now, real freedom is not given. it is realized. It begins the moment you understand that your thought shapes your reality and that you have the power to reshape your thoughts. So today, I invite you to reflect. What invisible chains might be holding you back? Is it the fear of failure, fear of judgment, or fear of stepping outside expectations? Or perhaps it's a belief you've carried for years without ever questioning it. Whatever it may be, remember this. Chains lose their power the moment you see them clearly. Awareness creates possibility, and possibility opens the door to freedom. So as we move through the season of Truth and Freedom podcast, we will continue exploring the barriers that limit human potential and the tools that allows us to reclaim our autonomy mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. Because the goal is not simply to survive life. The goal is to live it consciously, courageously, and freely. And true freedom always begins in the mind. Thank you all for joining me today, and I look forward to continuing this journey of truth and freedom with you. Until our next episode, stay curious, stay awake, and stay free. And remember, freedom begins the moment you refuse to let these invisible chains take control of your life.